How are you today?
Hello, how are you? I'm good. You?
Oh, good. Tell me how things are. How is this pandemic situation in Berlin? Haven't been able to keep up with the whole world. What are restrictions like for you?
It's it. We in the moment we are reopening everything. So we had this virus in March. It was terrible, but in the moment we are reopening everything. So we had a lockdown and yeah, for several weeks, but in the moment seems to be pretty normal like before. But yeah, I don't trust him.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy time, right?
Yeah, it's really crazy. Yeah, people behave uh, like normal, like if the virus is gone, but that's not true. It's still there. So
Exactly. It's
yeah,
the same here. We're the same thing. Yeah.
yeah,
How is it? Has it affected your swimming?
yeah. Definitely, it has. Yeah, it has
Yeah.
because when it started, we shut everything down. So no swimming pools, no fitness clubs, nothing.
Yeah.
We were allowed to go outside and to do individual sport. So I went to the lake every
Hmm.
weekend, of course. But it's a little bit to drive there. It's 1 hour drive, so I only could do
Ah,
it at the weekend.
yeah.
And the water was still very cold. It was 7 degrees at the time. So I swam a little.
Brr.
Yeah. Mm.
Uh, wow.
So
So it's
I have a long time behind me with a little bit swimming.
yeah. Did you have events on the schedule this year for
Yeah,
your,
yeah,
has that
yeah.
been canceled? Your swim's been canceled?
Yeah, my plan was to swim the Molokai Strait this year.
Number 7, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You got it in September. But I haven't canceled it yet, but I will.
Yeah, the
Because
travel.
two reasons. I haven't done the training so far, and the other thing is I think I will not be allowed to travel to Hawaii in September. I
Right.
think it will not happen.
Yeah, I think they were quarantining people for like 10 days if you arrived. They like you have
Yeah,
to, so that
that's
wouldn't work.
totally impossible.
It's
Yeah. I
too
don't have
long.
that much holiday. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that too. I was supposed to go over to Scotland this year, and that's not happening to do Loch
Yeah,
Ness.
yeah. For a swim for Loch Ness. Or,
Hmm.
oh wow, ooh, that's
So,
cold.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But maybe next year, we'll see.
Yeah, what a pity. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
also I forward Hawaii to next year. Yeah.
yeah. Yep. Tell me a little bit about your swimming background. When did you start swimming?
I started swimming as a child, of course. I can't remember very much, but I started as a child with swimming. And yeah, the first thing I learned swimming when we were children. We traveled a lot to Denmark. So
Oh,
and in Denmark we were at the beaches and of course and yeah played around there and did everything. And I did my first swim strokes in Denmark in the ocean. So
that's awesome.
afterwards, when we were back in Germany, we took a proper swim lesson. So I learned proper swimming in a pool. But I think my first swim stroke I did in Denmark.
That's great. That's a good story. um,
So
is it?
sorry, it
Oh,
all started with open water swimming.
yeah, yeah, exactly. When did you start swimming marathons?
um, in not that early. In yeah, I was after that I was as a teenager. I was swimming in a swimming club and yeah, but did it as a sport and not very ambitious. I just was in the swimming club and I loved swimming, but I wasn't ambitious at this time. And then I forgot swimming, and in my mid 30s, I came back to swimming and did it as a sport just for me. And in the end of my 30s, I discovered open water swimming, and that was it. I was really hooked in that moment. I discovered small competitions. They were all around in Germany, and I was into it from that moment on. And then I discovered that it means more for me to do longer swims than to do short swims like 2K or so very fast. So I like it more to do a long swim, 10K swim or whatever, and to do it in my pace and just to finish it. And I thought, oh, how far can you go? What kind of swim can you do? Can you do a 10K swim? And then I did this 10K swim, and I was, whoa, you did a 10K swim. It was incredible. And so, it went on and on.
My story is quite similar. I think mid-30s was when I discovered open water swimming, and and I got hooked right away, but wanting to push the distance kind of right away. So because I didn't like going fast. It's not that fun to go fast.
Yeah.
I love that. So why do you think you keep swimming marathons?
It's because I love open water swimming, and I love to challenge myself, and I want to do the Ocean 7 because it was not my plan from the beginning on, but I did the English Channel, I did Catalina then, because I wanted to do this particular swims. And but after the North Channel, the first time I thought, okay, maybe you can do the Ocean 7. It's just 3 left. So yeah, since then I'm working on the Ocean 7.
That's great. How do you describe the feeling of completing a marathon swim?
It was different in my swims. Directly afterwards, I very often I was totally exhausted, and I didn't feel that much. It was not that what you would expect, a high or, oh yeah, I've done it. It was not there. I was too exhausted for that. It was just relief that I'm out of the water and wanted to sleep and nothing. But days after, maybe on the next day or a day after that, it sinked in, and then I felt, wow, you have swum that. That's so incredible, and that was an overwhelming feeling then. So, but it was not there directly after the swim. Directly after the swim, I felt okay, finished. No, better. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. It does take a little while to set in, but that sense of pride is it sticks with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There are swims where I'm really, really proud of. So.
Tell me about one of the ones you're really proud of.
The swim which I'm most proud of is the North Channel. It's the toughest one I've ever done, and I've succeeded, and I don't know how I did it, but I succeeded, and I'm really, really proud of it. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, the North Channel was, for me, it was the most challenging thing was the cold. In my swim, it was 13 degrees. It was rough water. We had 18 knots, so it was rough. Yeah. And but in my head, before I started to swim, the biggest thing was the cold. It was so big in my head, the cold. I hate jellyfish, of course, but yeah.
How did you push
didn't
through?
think about that much. It was more the cold. So yeah, and in the swim, it was really, really hard. And in the end, I was finished. It was I couldn't have go many further. So I was.
Did you have that? We talked to Caroline Block on Thursday, and I guess that was yesterday. She's attempted the double, but she talked about how the currents, how they change, like you're 100 yards from shore, and then the current change, or 800 meters or something from shore, and then the current changes. Did that happen to you too? Like, and then you go backwards, and now you're 2,000 meters from shore.
You know,
Uh,
before I started to swim, the day before we met our pilot. It was Podrick Malone. Caroline swam also with him, with
yeah.
Infinity, with a company, and the day before the swim, he told us a little bit how the swim works, and he said, "Okay, you have to swim fast in the beginning of the swim for the first 3 hours to get out, to get the tide right, and then in the middle of the channel, you have to swim fast again, and in the end of the swim, the last 6 kilometers, you have to give everything. You have to." Then he said, and then the swim starts. The last 6 kilometers.
Wow. Wow. So it's
Because
just fast the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's impressive. Congratulations on completing that. Can you tell us how you worked through? So you said that the cold was really on your mind in the beginning. How did you kind of work through that?
I did a lot of cold water training. I stayed for 3 months in Ireland just to train for the swim. So, and I did many hours in cold water. So, yeah, in the end, after all this training, I did long swims at the weekend, two very long swims on one weekend, and then I had this feeling, okay, you've done that much and you can swim that long in that water. Maybe you have a chance. After all that training, I thought, oh, wow, okay, maybe it works. But all that training was necessary for that, to give me that bit confidence. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice too, right? That you can fall back on your training.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see. Can you tell us some of your favorite swimming memories?
My favorite swimming memory.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there were so many. Yeah.
You can tell me more than one.
It's maybe one swim in Germany where we did a 10K swim. It was not a swim camp. It was more a camp where we met and where we were swimming with friends and more like this. And we on that day we did a 10K swim, and it was beautiful landscape and everything was so nice, and beautiful lakes in Germany. And then we had a dinner, and after the dinner, I said, okay, I'm swimming back, because I trained for the English Channel at that time. So I was alone then, and I had a feeding point. So my wife were at one feeding point, but the rest I did the swim on my own. And then in a lake, which was beautiful, I came into a hail shower, and I didn't recognize that it was hail. I thought it was rain.
Yeah.
And the water was so quiet, and the hail was on that water, and it was so beautiful. I can't describe it. It was really beautiful. Alone in that lake with that hail shower, I thought it was rain, and then there was a layer on the water which was really cold. Just a small layer, like 1 or 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
And I never experienced that kind of thing. I loved it. It was really great experience.
That's a great memory. I love that.
So yeah, that you can see from that, swimming for me is a lot of being in nature, and I love that.
Yeah. Yep. Is there anything that you haven't finished?
It is, yeah. 2 years ago, I swam or tried to swim the Tsugaru Strait, and I was sick. I had a bronchitis, and I got that in Germany, and then we traveled to Japan, and I thought, okay, you have time, maybe it will go away, but it didn't. It went worse and worse and worse. And then the swim came, and I started to swim. Looking back, I think I shouldn't have started to swim, but you know that the preparation and everything, and then you're standing there in Japan, and I started to swim. Yeah, it's so much, and
It's a
then I
big
started to
commitment.
swim, and with my first strokes, I realized, okay, not today. You will not finish that today, because I felt so weak and so the waves were really big. It was rough water, and it was blah, blah, blah. So after 3.5 hours, I went out. So I came back last year, and I did it again, and I finished it. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
But that sounds like it was like sickness. Has there been any other time that you haven't finished something that you kind of set out to do that wasn't like because of sickness or something? Like your demons got the better of you?
Yeah. That were demons in my head. Yeah, I was sick, and that, yeah, that messed up my head. So it was, well.
Yeah. Where's your favorite place to swim?
I'm going very often to swim camps in Ireland, to the Ned Denison camp, and to hit the ball. And I met Caroline there, and yeah, and I love swimming there. I love Ireland. It's really, really beautiful. The landscape is so beautiful, and yeah, I love swimming in Ireland.
Have you met John Gale?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, he talks about the hit the wall camp.
Okay, yeah.
He's been a few times. But just was wondering. We're like a small community, but not that small.
Okay, then I maybe met him, but I think we didn't talk to each other. So because I've been there, but there are so many people. There are 80 people, or I don't know.
Yeah. So is that your favorite event? Would you say? Either is it like Ned Denison's camp or hit the wall, or is there another favorite event that you have?
I love this. I love the swim camp in Ned Denison runs, and also hit the wall. Of course, I love them. But if you're talking about an event is for me one day, or I don't know, a swimming event, then it is maybe the Manhattan swim. I've done it several years ago, and I messed up my feeding, so I was sick during the whole swim because the concentration of my feeding was too high. So I was sick, and I didn't enjoy it. I thought before I will enjoy it, to swim along the skyline and to see everything, and I love New York, and I love swimming. So two things, but in the swim I really suffered because I was so sick. So I would love to do that again. And to enjoy it this time.
Yeah. How many times have you come in?
Sorry?
How many times have you did you say you've been to Manhattan more than once?
No, I just did it once.
Oh, okay.
Because no, I just did it once, but I would love to do it again.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. It sounds like, yeah, I've talked with a good number, I guess, of people who've done the New York swims, and it just sounds really, really fun. I'm on the West Coast, so for me it's a big, well, it's not a big a trek as going to Europe, but anyway, it's a big trip to go to New York. But I really need to get that one. Yeah. Really would like to do that someday. How do you adapt to changing conditions?
You mean in a swim, or in the planning of a swim? Okay. No, okay, got it. When I plan a swim, I really try to find out as much as I can about the swim, about the conditions there, and how the swim works. It's very often in swims that they have a crucial point, like in the North Channel, the cold. You cannot do the North Channel when you are not prepared for the cold. You can't do anything about the jellyfish. They are there, and maybe you have luck or you don't have luck, but you can't do anything. But for the cold, you can prepare. So I always try to find out what the crucial point of a swim is, and then I try to prepare for that. So in the North Channel, I did very much cold water training. For Tsugaru, for example, in Tsugaru, a current is playing a big role, and you have to go through that current. That means that maybe for a few hours you have to swim fast. The faster you can swim, the bigger is your chance that you will succeed. So for Tsugaru, I did a lot of speed training. I didn't succeed in that, but I tried.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. How do you get through the hard points in the swim? You know, when you're just really feeling defeated and you're not there yet. How do you get through those tough times?
Yeah. I just try. Just try to get over it, I just try not to stop. Go further, just go further, and I try to do not to think about the whole thing, because when you are suffering, when something hurts you, when you're feeling cold, or when your shoulder feels your shoulder is hurting, or anything. And you think about the whole swim, then you think, oh, maybe there are 10 hours in front of me and I'm suffering like this. Then you want to go out. I just try to, okay, it's there, but stay calm and do the next half hour, swim to the next feet, and then maybe it will be there, maybe it's gone. So, and it really happens that you feel better after half an hour. So yeah, I try to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of putting things in perspective, right? Reminding yourself while you're there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's good. What's been the worst part of the pandemic for you?
It's changing in the moment, because in the beginning it was, of course, it was that I can't swim, and it was the shutdown. We weren't able to meet friends, and I hated this. But I also saw that it was necessary. But I hated it, that I couldn't swim, and especially not to meet friends. And but in the moment it's changing. It's more that I fear that we will have maybe a second wave. We have reopened everything, and people behave as if it's normal again, and if it's gone, the virus, and I have the fear that there will be a second wave. So
yeah, it's a concerning time for all of us.
yeah.
We've been having some conversations in the US about inclusivity and diversity. And so one of the questions I've kind of added recently is how we can make the sport more inclusive. Do you have any thoughts on that you want to share?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. No, not really. No, sorry.
That's okay. It's a tricky one. I mean, you know, it's an expensive sport, so it's hard to, you know, to take into account all the factors.
Yeah.
It's a complex problem for sure. But anyway,
I mean, swimming is not expensive, but swimming as we are doing it with marathon swimming, and you have to have a boat, and this is expensive. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I guess personally, I'm kind of trying to do some more like encouraging people to swim, you know, more locally. Like you can do a marathon at home, you know, and there's still a sense of fulfillment and that you can get from completing a marathon swim. You know, it's kind of a stepping stone. So anyway, that's just one of the things I'm working on. How would you say that there's been any technique changes to your stroke that that have happened over your career? Or have you always just kind of done the same stroke?
I'm trying really hard to improve my technique, because my technique is not good. But I'm not very successful in it. I don't know.
You don't know. Is there anything you're working on right now?
I can't swim in high elbow. My arm is always sinking down before I start the stroke, and my technique is really not good. And I'm trying to improve it. I'm doing drills in every swimming session, but
Yeah.
not successful in it.
But it works. What you're doing is working. So,
It works, yeah. It
yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to an aspiring marathon swimmer? Some new person.
I always admire swimmers who have who have done swims nobody else has done before. So this I really like swimmers who have this how do you say it? Who have this vision to do swims. I don't know. Have an idea about swims, like for example, like Lynn Cox did, or Mercedes Gleitze, for example, and that swimmers I really admire.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there, if someone was new to marathon swimming, what tips would you give them?
Yeah, I would say to them, if you love open water swimming, if you really want to like it, you can do anything. You just yeah, maybe not apply for the English Channel first. Do a 10K swim or do a 15K swim and do maybe like Zurich, and then go to the English Channel if you want that. You give them a few years and then you will succeed. But give them a few years. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. Whose marathon swim story do you want to hear?
I would love to hear the story of Tom Blower. I don't know much about him. He was the first person who swam the North Channel. I don't know much about him, only yeah, just from a small article or so. I would love to hear more, or learn more about him. It's incredible what he has done. So.
Wonderful. Man, it's been wonderful talking to you today, Matthias. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Can